We're good.
We have added a new co-host. So obviously myself, Eric, and Josh. But now we have another man. Introduce yourself to the masses, because no one has ever heard
You know,
of
if you've watched the show frequently, you've maybe have seen me once or twice on. My name's Hoosier. Valiant fan, love Valiant, and also do Hoodoo TV on YouTube through Outright Geekery as well. Used to cover a lot of Valiant stuff. Kind of went quiet, had a little bit of move. My backdrop's changed a little bit, but I'm happy to be here with you guys, man. It's I dig what you guys have done for 3 years now. So
It's been some years.
yeah, it's been pretty rock and roll.
I don't pay too much how long we've been.
Yeah, but it's nice to add something new. We had some technical difficulties a lot on our end, and Hoosier knows a lot more about those types of things, and is also extremely knowledgeable and someone who also has a lot to say. Like he said, he's done Hoodoo TV, which is awesome, and we're definitely, I don't need to speak for Josh too much, but pretty sure we're all really stoked to make this addition to our little team here.
Yeah, Eric and I had talked about how we've talked for a while how we want to try to get John on here, and we like what he's able to do with the program. So if you're looking at the screen right now, this is more for the people who are watching it. You'll notice that we have like some images now added to the screen. So that's all because of John. Eric and I, we just don't know anything about this kind of shit. So we really appreciate the fact that John has half a brain at least, and that's half more than us. And this thing should look good.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, we'll have parts where we'll have the live chat on board. We'll have a little bit more graphics to kind of show you what we're doing with. Won't always be all the way up, but we'll get it rocking and rolling, and I hope people that enjoy it. So if you can see, your live chat's going to be on the screen. Dude, I'm humbled that you guys asked me. You guys are awesome. I think the first time connecting with was Josh at Emerald City like 2 or 3 years ago, and kind of rocking and rolling from there. So
yeah. John had a very cool 1% cosplay. It was the coolest thing I saw that weekend.
There's the 1% mask is in the background. So yeah, I'm pumped up to be on here, guys. So and let's rock and roll. And what do you guys want to get into some of the news?
Yeah, I think there's like one more bit of news if that's correct.
Yep. Valiant actually announced that there's going to be a Rise series, so I think now it's safe to say that the book that Josh and I were given by Valiant was Rise #1, and so we did get to read the Ashcan version of that first issue, and I think it's going to be a really good book.
Yeah, I believe that I read something similar today, or maybe just yesterday, when I think the announcement came out, that they already have preview pages for like the first 5 issues out. So it sounds like it's going to be longer than 5 issues. At least that's how I took it. And everybody else kind of talking the book up on other places and on other pages. But I was by Valiant. Don't mention the name of the book. Try to get people interested without naming it. And I'm a sucker for the rules. So
even though Rob Mullins posted it on Valiant Comics fans with the images that some of these Juan Jose Reap, who I'm so pumped up to be seeing, him doing dinosaurs and then Dollhouse colors on it, the images look great, and what Abnett's done with Fallen World, and then Eric so nicely has one of the covers there. So yeah, it's pretty awesome to have that, and we'll rock from there. So. And we'll try to get that reverb. William Pace is saying we got some reverb. Well, I guess at all, do you, Josh or Eric, do you guys have headphones near you at all to throw in? That would maybe possibly help it a little bit. If not, I could.
I don't have any near me right now.
So we'll kind of rock from there. So hopefully we can get that rocking. Looks like there is a little technical difficulties. First time running through with this, guys. So yeah, still, is it anything better on your end, Ryan or William? So got some guys in the live chat, so hang with us, guys, too, if you're here, rocking that. So and then I could also put the live chat on. So yeah, keep going and talking about it, Eric and Josh.
Well, I think it sucks if people aren't able to hear us. Hopefully they'll get that figured out. But I think that one of my biggest questions about having this new Rye book and having one Jose Reed was the big change, because we've really had Clayton Crane doing all of the Rye stuff. You know, when it wasn't him, it was basically just Kafu. And so now we're getting what has to be a different take on it with Reed's art, and I think that I think it fits really well. I mean, it's going to be different when we get the color version, because it's just black and white. But as you can see in those colored pages, it looks really good.
Yeah, the color pages look good. I love the way the logo looks on that cover that they're showing. Where it's not. It's kind of the opposite of what the XM was like to me. As far as like like I said, like Eric said, we have a black preview and Yash can. The art looks great. I'm a huge fan. So I feel like as far as Rye goes, they've had top-notch artists on it. They've had Clayton Crane, Cafu, and so a new series is going to happen. And Veep on it. It just carries that traditional great art. Another thing that's really cool about this, and maybe this is something that will come up later when we talk about Fallen World last week, is that we've all been really happy with how Dan Abnett has written Fallen World and the adventures in Fourth Kid. So with him carrying on from there into a new series of just Rye, that's really exciting, and it's really a cool thing to look forward to when even reading Fallen World, because I feel like a lot of times when these books come out, we all have that same kind of attitude of like, well, I really like the book. I hope this guy's sticking around. You know, a lot.
So I figured out what's going on with the audio. If you guys could turn your sound down a little, as much as you can, because what it is, it's picking Josh's up a second time on Eric's mic. So we'll get that fixed there. So yeah, it should help, and then I could just adjust the mics for mine. Sorry about that, guys. Everybody on there, Scott Bloom, thanks for joining us. Ryan Pond, thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you guys jumping in, giving us some chat on helping us out. We'll get that rocking. We'll get it fixed. So
hopefully it's better, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think my problem is that I use a phone. So maybe next week I'll try to be on my laptop.
Yeah, I think throwing in a headphone, if you could, works really good. So, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I will. Can try to get on that. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But I'm really excited about this Rye book. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at with that one. Do we just want to move on to reviews? I'm not sure that we have a whole lot of other news that we can talk about right now.
I'm good. You guys want to get to the first one?
Yeah. So get Fallen World out of the way.
Fallen World.
If not, just join us for the adventure.
So Fallen World number 4, as we were just talking about, Dan Abnett is doing the 4001 stuff right now. He's kind of taken over that future world, and it's one of the things that I've said I really liked about this. Now I'm just thinking about Rye. Sorry, I got to get back on Fallen World. This book is the Fallen World book. It's very much about this world as a whole, and I think that has been good about it all the way through, and this issue is no different. We've got really awesome characters, and I think that this has been one of those books that a lot of people have talked about how much they like Valiant for continuity, and I think that this has been one of those books where we finally we've seen this book very much, be a slave to the continuity that's come before it, and there's nothing but that. And I think that the next one coming out, Rye, from what I, having read that first issue, it's very much the same thing. It's the same continuity running through, and everything moving essentially in a straight line. And I know a lot of the fans have been wanting that, and I'm very glad that it is working out that way. So I don't know. I think that this was a good issue. I think all the characters are really well written, and the art has been solid all the time. So I don't know that there's a whole lot more to go into.
One thing that I dug on this book was kind of that aspect to where War Mother is getting with the new Geomancer, and she's really talking to her about like her approach on how her militant approach, and I do like that kind of aspect that was brought in there. So there's a good element there that I really love that Abnett threw in there, and there's some great storytelling going on in this book so far, and Paulina's art I think is a great match for this book right now. And it does leave us in a great spot. Still got one more issue for what's going to be coming with Rye, so that leaves me pumped.
Yeah, one thing I liked about this is there's so many different threads going on with everything, but it seems like Dan Abnett's doing a good job of kind of keeping everybody in line with where they're going in the story. I think that I'm really curious with how this is going to end. And I've done my best to not read the first issue of Rye. So I don't have a spoiler as far as like I know things are going to happen. I haven't read it. I've seen a couple pages, but I'm really curious to see how they kind of resolve everything, because it does seem like right now there's a lot going on with Lulu, and then with the Eternal Warrior and the War Mother, and then Rye and these animal hybrid people. And it's all really cool. But I do have a lot of curiosity about how this is going to kind of resolve itself in time for the first issue to start rolling out.
Well, based on having read that first issue, I would say that it does work out pretty well. It must work out one way or another. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that I've really enjoyed how much action there is in this book. I think that the new Spylock is awesome. That's essentially what Lula has become, and that's what I was hoping that we would get from her. I really think that the way Abnett has carried these characters on has worked really, really well, and I'm definitely on board for more of it. And reading that first issue of Rye, I have a pretty good idea of what the fallout of the series is going to be, but I still don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah, trying to connect it after, knowing that number one is out there. I hope it doesn't get too spoiled or whatnot, and that we do get a good landing of Fallen World. So far with this book and all of the connections with the Geomancer, with Glad, I am getting this might be mistaken, but kind of the Valiant vibe from this, that it's leading off to having a couple other issues come from it, right? The way the Valiant led off Bloodshot Reborn is kind of what I'm wishful thinking, hoping for right here, that we get with Rye. So
it's probably wishful thinking, but I do think that there's enough going on with that timeline. They could have more than one book going on. And everything that we've gotten from the 4001, 4002 timeline has been really exceptional. So, like, we've had Rye, and we've had 4001, now this miniseries, and now we're having another ongoing. I feel like you could have more books that reside in this timeline, and they could still be enjoyable, because we do have cool characters. We don't just have Rye. We've got Eternal Warrior, War Mother, a Geomancer, we got Spylock. There's all these other pieces in that world. It's just whether or not they would do something like that. And I don't know if they really would right now, but it would be a cool thought. It'd be cool to see a second book where there's two titles that kind of deal with things in this timeline. Just because there's been all we've gotten is this one story ever since New Japan hit Earth. So at some point, there's so much more that they could get into. There's got to be so many more sectors with survivors or horrors that have crawled out of them, and the people on Earth in these areas where these things have landed. There's got to be a lot of storytelling elements and opportunities that are present. but we'll just see what
What
happens.
would you think if Savage ended up transforming into 4002, wherever we're at?
It'd be all right. I mean, he didn't end there in his miniseries, so something else would kind of have to happen to him, and I don't know if the faraway necessarily is like time travel.
Right.
I know that it's just like a different place, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever time travel, but it definitely could happen.
If Neela could just pick him up on her way to 4002, that'd be great.
But for me, like I think that I read this last, and we didn't do an episode last week, and I made the mistake of not rereading it, so I flipped through it again on my phone, on my PDF. And I will say that the art I think hasn't been perfect in this book, and I think the story is definitely the strong point. So for me, the art's not bad, but I don't think it's as good as what we got previously in the future world stuff like Crane and Kafu. And I also think the art coming up in the new Rai book is better as well. So I think that this is a low point in relation to what we're used to, I guess. But it's still good. The writing has been phenomenal. I really like I said before, I love how all the characters are really fleshed out. There's so much. It feels like this is a really dense book, but it doesn't feel slow to read. So for me, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I think that it's a really solid book, and definitely the other nice thing about this book is that I think it would be a good jumping on point if anybody's not familiar with that future world. If anybody hasn't read Rai, they don't want to go back and read the whole thing. I think you can jump into that.
You could pick up Fallen World, who's never read Rai or the previous event, 4001, and they would get a good understanding of what's going on. I think that the first issue did a really good job of catching readers up on what was happening or what had previously happened. And you could be a new reader and get into this. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I definitely agree that this is new reader friendly, but still with some fan service. Connecting with the Geomancer, bringing in War Mother, and then just kind of. I think there's some really good fan service that's being done here. Abnett has impressed me, and I'm glad. I don't know if this was just like an audition for him to see if they were going to give him an ongoing and to set up a story, or if he just fell in love with Rai and created another, solid story. I know that it was Lisa Hawkins is going to be the editor on the next one, and so she's gotten some great stuff under her belt when she was at Marvel. But that's going ahead. Future tripping. So I'm going to be right there. I'm going to say a 4 as well. I'm ready to see what happens when it closes out. How are they going to wrap this up? What's it going to be? So.
Yep.
No, I totally agree. I think, like I said, totally agree. I think first issue of like I said, even having read that first issue, wondering how this is going to wrap up. Wondering how this is going to go and how is where are we going to go and how is it going to work out.
Then we got a bunch of people in the chat right now. So William Pace, thanks. Scott Bloom jumping on. Ryan Pond. William was talking about this David Mack cover. So what did you guys think of the covers of Fallen World 4?
They've all been great. They've all been great.
I was just going to say that Mack cover is really good. I'm actually not always a fan of his. I'm actually not always a fan of his. And then that one that just popped up. And then that one that just popped up. I don't even know who that is, but that one I don't even know who that is, but that one Galad and the Geomancer. The one with Galad and the Geomancer.
I believe
I've liked them all. Yeah, I've liked them all pretty solid. I thought they've all been pretty solid.
I wasn't too happy about. I believe it's the A cover, but yeah, but mostly it's awesome. And then of course getting John Boy on there, his stuff on like his number 1 was great. And then what we're gonna see with him and Bloodshot coming forward. So let's go like that. So, what book do you guys want to do next?
We can talk Punk Mambo.
I'm down.
We can talk Punk
Mambo.
This is exactly what we have gotten. Exactly what from Punk Mambo this entire time. From Punk Mambo this entire time. Immediately, Cullen Bunn had the character's voice down, and everything feels really natural. And I think really natural. And I think that a lot of Valiant fans have really liked Adam Gorham, and it's really nice to see him doing this whole series on interiors, and it's been phenomenal. I think that they got lucky with the perfect team for this book, and it looks and feels like a really good book. I love the characterization of Mambo, the characterization of Mambo, and honestly, the ending. It was really cool, and it was really cool. Ate at me a little bit, and I couldn't figure out why. And I went back and found out why. But I went back. Okay, so again, we go full spoiler. Okay, so again, we go full spoiler on this. Punk Mambo is being controlled. Punk Mambo is being controlled by what I don't can't even remember. Can't even remember. Whatever.
Mama Bridget.
Whatever.
Madame Bridget.
Yeah. Sure,
yeah.
That one.
Yep.
I couldn't figure out why when that was revealed. But I went back. I think it was in like the second issue. And I think it was in like the second issue when she got someone called her that. Like, and someone called her that. Like, come with me. I can show you where you want to go. Come with me. I can show you where you want to go. Mambo's like, why in the world is she calling me that? And it was because was this other character controlling her and manipulating her, and that's fucking crazy that they ended this book on that crazy that they ended this book because that had nothing to do with what was going on in the book. That had nothing to do with what was going on in the book. So ending on that big of a cliffhanger and saying ending on that big of a cliffhanger and saying Punk Mambo's coming soon, or I really hope that they follow through on that promise. I really hope that they follow through on that promise. Anything even half as good as this. Anything even half as good as this. I really want to read. Something I really
so read. Like when I got to that last page reveal, I was really excited because the fact that they do leave it on the cliffhanger, and it does have that little note in the bottom right that says that Punk Mambo will return. Give us the same creative team, though. That's all I'm going to say about it, because Cullen Bunn has come in. He's done such great work on the character and on this book. He stuck the landing, as far as I'm concerned. Has been just perfect on this. In fact, I wish I had my iPad perfect on this. In fact, I wish I had my iPad that I would have wanted to point out. There was a couple of panels that I would have wanted to point out, but there was just so many great moments where her face just kind of explains everything. You know, Adam's art is just so descriptive in the face, and I think with a character like Punk Mambo, that's been a great thing. So give us the same creative team. I've been really happy with this book. I think a lot of people have been really happy with this book, and we like seeing Adam on stuff. But I'll tell you what, man, like as much as I was not like that excited for like Roku in the sense that like it could be like a redemptive story, if it's as good as this, I'm probably not going to care because this has been really good. This has been a really great series to read.
So I'm mixed feelings about this. Partly because of the big villain had, like a 3-page fight and he's done. And I just, the terms that they used in some of it, that he's the most powerful being, and, like really? And it took, 4 pages to knock him out. And just going into his like unknown space with all these Loas that he had consumed. I just wasn't too happy about the big bad. Josh, do you have your hand up?
Well, I thought that like the way it explained it in here was good. Because Punk Mambo said that he doesn't know what he's doing. Punk Mambo said that he doesn't know what he's doing. No magic. He's just learned how to shut it off. So having all that power to command, it just having all that power to command, it just made it sound like he doesn't quite know what he's doing yet. So he's still out there somewhere, and we could see him return at some point. And we could see when he has a better grasp at what he's doing. When he has a better grasp at what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thing is just that the climax of the story happened in very few amount of pages for this whole, series, it seemed like, within those last pages. And so that was kind of the part that, kind of like there was a lot of build up just for that short piece right there, that climax. And I mean, that's nitpicky.
That's fair.
But that's fair. It was good. I do enjoy the way he did talk Punk Mambo and used her voice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I get what you're saying. That it seemed kind of quick, but I think what you're saying that all worked out. But I think really the way that all worked out felt really natural. It didn't seem so. It didn't seem she beat him too easily or anything like that. She beat him too easily or anything like that. I think that there was in his plan, obvious she exploited it to the plan, and that's perfect Punk Mambo. That's exactly what she does. If she has an opportunity, she's going to exploit it. If she has an opportunity, and that's what exploit it. And I think and that's what happened. It makes sense, and I thought it makes sense, and I thought it worked perfectly. I loved her getting her soul ripped out, ended up her getting her soul ripped out, ended up being the thing that saved her. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was. I definitely, like Josh said, I definitely see. Like Josh said, I'd love to see 5 issue another Punk Mambo story by the exact same creative team. Story by the exact same creative team we've gotten with Divinity. We've gotten with Divinity. Give us something like that. Rye was like, give us something like that. Rye was like into Crane originally. Let's get that for a Punk Mambo. Let's get that for a Punk Mambo. A series of miniseries. A series of miniseries. My ideal with that is.
So it could be the same creative team. This will be further down the way. Same creative team, but it's Shadow Man versus Punk Mambo. You get to pick which one.
It can be cool. We need more Shadow Man. It can be cool. We need more Shadow Man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm done with more Shadow Man. But
so I guess that's that's been my debate for a while. Is, you know what I mean? If it's taking something else off the shelf, is it that much more important? You know what I mean? Because I've been one of the guys screaming in the raft top for the tent poles. Is that, but that's kind of me. There's some of the characters I enjoy, I love, but there's still enjoyable ones that you don't know you love until you have it, right? You don't know what your favorite ice cream flavor till you try it.
Yeah. Well, and no one knows what next year will be like. Yeah. So maybe at some point next year we could have. So maybe at some point next year we could have. Just like how we talked already earlier about. Just like how we talked already earlier about. In 4002, you could have 2 different. In 4002, you could have 2 different titles. It's a nice daydream. It would be nice for all of us to be like. It's a nice daydream. The perfect world that we set up in our heads. Like the perfect world that we set up this many books. To make all of us happy. To make all of us happy.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice. I just think that it would be nice. I just think that Valiant is the fact of the matter is, and when they had business, and when they had a written really reason for them, I don't think that there's any reason for them back to getting Shadow Man on the shelf. Back to getting Shadow Man on the shelf. It makes sense. I think that to spend at least a year to spend working on at least a year something that's going to put the character back. That's going to put the character back. In a position to be able to sell enough books. In a position to be able to sell enough books because that's the series ongoing. Because that sucks when and then it only ever comes out 8 or 10 and then it only ever gets to 8 or 10 issues, whatever, or 12 issues, people aren't buying it. Whatever. Like, think of how amazing buying it. Like, think of how amazing with XO because he had 50 plus issues with XO because he had 50 plus issues. Compare that to what he was able to do with Wrath of the Eternal Warrior. Compare that to what he was able to do with Wrath of the Eternal Warrior. Wrath of the Eternal Warrior. I think that's an amazing book. Warrior. I think that's an amazing book. Compared to what he was able to do on XO, compared to what he was able to do on XO, it's because nobody was buying Wrath, and it's because nobody was buying Wrath, and they weren't able to justify it. They weren't able to justify. And that's happened with a lot of books that's happened with a lot of books that Shadow Man should have been ongoing, like Shadow Man. Ninja K, I think with higher sales, we would have seen. I think with higher sales, so when we ask for these characters back, when we ask for these characters back, we have to realize that in a collective sense, we as fans, are the ones not having them on the shelf. If they were not having them on the shelf, if they were selling, if there were good stories to tell, which if there were good stories to tell, which I'm sure the small number of good stories. With the small number, those would be the characters that were on the shelves. Those would be the characters that were on the shelves. Archer and Armstrong. What happened last time? Archer and Armstrong.
Absolutely, they have to produce, and I think it was the two of you that were talking about like the divinity process, right? Of having an arc a year type of thing. And I think knowing if there was an arc a year on some of these, we might be okay with these relaunch miniseries, whatever you want to call them. Something like Punk Mambo. Give her a mini a year. You know what I mean? Something maybe even if Shadow Man only has an arc story that we run that route. But I think it's actually sometimes depending on the mindset or the not mindset, but what ability in the cells, like you said, that's something that should be considered.
Yeah, I think we're getting off the rails a little bit just because like this has nothing to do with really like with Punk Mama, but like I think the problem is that a lot of times we look at the past and what Valiant did in the past. So Valiant used to sell like hundreds of thousands of copies of every book every month. And they could have more than 6 books out. But right now, that's just not what the market is. And Valiant has to make the decision of doing what's best for the market and for them, or just putting out a bunch of stuff that might not sell, get out there. they can't get to fruition just because no one's buying them enough to keep them selling. So I'm glad. I like what we get. Obviously, we wish it was more, but it is what it is.
All right, let's go to Punk Mambo, man.
Yeah, so let's score this book. So let's score this book. Number 5. This whole series has been amazing. The fact that there was a big reveal that I couldn't possibly have seen and that it tied back to the beginning of the story. That is a huge thing for me. To me, that makes it feel like Tone Bun really had a long game in mind when he wrote. Like I said before, I really hope. To me, this is a 4.5. This is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I really like this story, and I absolutely needed to come back.
I agree, 4.5, and I'm totally waiting for the next series to start.
Nice. Like I say, my only gripe was just that the climax with the big bad. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I would read it if it came back out again.
Fair enough.
So moving on to the
week of books is that the 2 books we got are endings.
Mm-hmm.
We got Punk Mambo ending and we got Toyo Harada ending, and it sucks. But at least they're both really good books. I think it was Braithwaite that did the in between or the flashback stories. I didn't think that was phenomenal. I wasn't super stoked on that. But other than that, I mean, this book is pretty ridiculous.
I would say that I was so drawn that I didn't pay too much attention to the art at times, and that's not a knock on the art. It's just that the writing was that good.
I can't argue. I can't argue. It's it's Dysart has been someone who has constantly written on a different level than most other writers. I think that he's able to do something. Oh, I got a cat yelling at me. He's able to do something with his writing that like when we did an interview with him about Goodnight Paradise. The way that story is this really honest look the setting that it's in, the city that it's in, Venice Beach. It's a really interesting murder mystery, and it's also this got this social commentary message to it that actually means something. And even if you have a different perspective, it's nice to have a story that has that level of meaning to it, and I think that he's been able to do that with the character of Toyo Harada. He's said a lot with this character, and I feel like the only bad thing really about this book is that it's known, honestly. I mean, so good.
Yeah, I felt like, in a way, this is going to be a really bad comparison, but I feel like we had like a Watchmen moment within this issue where Toyo explained everything to make everything make sense to Sunlight on Snow. And to me, I just thought it was kind of a ballsy move, because sometimes when that happens, it's like you've given away too much information. But within the flow of this issue, I thought it worked really well. It's almost tragic that Sunlight on Snow will never remember that Toyo's alive. I thought that was a good twist to the story. But I just love the fact that Josh made everything make sense. He explained everything. He put all the cards out there. And it's even after explaining how everything kind of fit together, it still worked. Everything just made a lot of sense. And I really do think that when we take the time to look at this issue, not right now because it's so fresh in our minds, but when we have those discussions on what the best books that Valiant's put out has been, this is going to be up there in that discussion. And I don't think anyone can really knock it, because it is such good work. And I think, honestly, after reading it, I felt like this was maybe the strongest thing that Josh had done at Valiant. That's just my opinion on it, though.
Yeah, I really like what Josh did on this. I mean, you got to think though that this is all from him starting how long ago? I mean, Harbinger 2012, right? Like this is kind of what he had in mindset from the very beginning, and kind of going with that story. And I just part of me just kind of like is sad about the wishing what could still be, what could still happen, like with his whole Harbinger run, what would have been if he would have, had the run of Harbinger. But dude, like what he has done a great job of making this weird, flawed person be very interesting, but yet still hopeful and still like I don't know. Just the guy as a person that he did with Toyo is pretty damn amazing. Because it seems like such a real character. I see lots of him that is just echoes in reality type of thing, and that's kind of what I like a lot about what Josh does. The art, I thought the art was pretty good, but again, just like what you were saying, Josh, sometimes you don't notice it so much when there is such good writing, and sometimes you're almost focusing more on just being like a chronic just word bubble reader, just kind of going from that to that, versus really looking at the art and kind of, taking a look at all of it. And this issue was just pretty phenomenal of having, seeing Toyo's master plan, and seeing how he's still behind the scenes, how he's still running the game, how he's still got spots left, right? He's still with, PRS, who's going to be Omen. And it just, you can see the many places where he left many different directions that can happen with Toyo, can happen with other stories, with Psyots, with the whole Valiant world there too. So it's one of those things where you hope that Josh gets more stories to come out. But all in all, I dug it. I dug the the great storyline, and then that Toyo is he still made it about him, but yet it's not about him a little bit in this, which is kind of the weird piece. And then just loving SOS, man. SOS is such a cool character.
Yeah. I think one thing that'll be interesting. Is we'll have to edit on how to read Valiant because this book obviously takes place a few years in our past. So probably somewhere before like Bloodshot USA, you'd want to read this. I think if you're trying to read like the universe as it's going. Just because it is a little bit dated. Obviously, Josh probably wanted this to come out a few years ago, as did Valiant, I'm sure, too. But it's just kind of funny like that. Like, the whole time reading this issue, I just kept thinking, like, yeah, we don't have Kozel. and we've been talking about how Harada's been dead for, like, a couple years now.
I'm so sad, you guys. I'm so sad, you guys. It's hard to just be completely close. Like, that was the only nice thing about when this book was still hadn't come out yet and we were waiting for it to come out, is that we didn't have that finality. And I do feel, I think Josh has been relatively clear that he's not going to continue writing Valiant stuff, and he's got other things that he's working on, which makes sense. It just sucks as a Valiant fan. But the upside, the silver lining there, is that now I think that having this kind of closure on this chapter puts us in a position to have now, like, Dan Abnett has come in and taken over the future part of the Valiant universe. It'd be nice if maybe this is the opportunity to get a new writer to come in and take over this part of the universe. Get into the Renegades and Harada and all the other. Just get into those Psyot characters. Bring a new writer in that has an idea, because I think that would be a really good opportunity for a lot of writers. I think a lot of writers would really enjoy that. So I think that there's a lot of potential there. But so for this book, for me, I don't know, 4.75. I'll go with. It's super, super, super solid. Really, really good. And I'm sorry it's over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a 5 on this one. I'm gonna go a 5 on this one. I was so just sucked into reading it. I didn't even pay too much attention to the art. So it was just a great issue. Looked awesome from what I remember, but the story is just so strong. It's a shame if this is Josh's last chance at Valiant. He went out all guns blazing, because this was top-notch stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that he wrote a phenomenal story, and whether it's the close for now of Toyo and what could happen with the myth of Toyo. May always leave if Toyo's in the background if something happened with future stories. So I hope something happens to it. I hope they use this to use Livewire to take over and get with Stronghold again, whatever there may be. I love what he's done. It is a sad day if this is Toyo's. If this is, might as well be Toyo Harada. Joshua Dysart, the Toyo of Valiant Universe. Just doing what he does, man. Just doing some really good stories that make you really think about reality and life. I think he has a good job of doing that in his stories, and it's a voice that would be sad to not have. But hopefully it echoes out and it gives some people some inspiration to write some really good stories. But I dug it. 5 out of 5. If more than that, if there was more stars to that, to me it was a great run. I love the aspect of this whole book of art, covers, and just the longer page spread that they were given, the longer page count. Really, let this story go well. I felt like it fit really good, and I'm going to be excited to put that up on the bookshelf and hardcover behind me when it's out.
Agreed.
So.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's over. I don't know.
It's
over.
I know I'm looking forward to getting the pre-order edition. I know I'm looking forward to getting the pre-order edition.
See some of the extra content on this.
I only got to see it for the first issue. I had bought a set through but they didn't ship until the whole series. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the pre-order edition extra content is on this.
Some of the things that I'm looking for is other things coming out this week, like the deluxe edition that we have coming with Ninjak, the Ninja K, and then the trade of the Forgotten Queen's coming. So some good stuff coming around later.
Yeah, one of those is obviously like really good. Eric and I have talked up Ninja K forever. It's so good. It is like the Toyo Harada, the Life and Death of Toyo Harada of the Ninjak universe. It's so good. Christos Gage totally impressed me so much on this book. And then on the flip side of that, I actually think that Forgotten Queen is like a pleasant surprise. It's not something that we would have asked for necessarily, but I don't think it ended up being that bad at all. So go into them with open minds. I definitely think people should check out Ninja K just because it is so good. It's one of my favorite things Valiant's ever done.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely, to me, like Ninja K and Wrath of the Eternal Warrior are two really, really good examples of how badass that kind of 14-issue run can be. And the other thing that I think fits there is like Ivar. And that is saying something because Ivar is really up there for me. It's something that I think goes unremembered too often, but that was an amazing, amazing book. And I would put this as that kind of, I don't know how to really describe it. There's something to really good one arc stories, but being able to do this kind of 3-arc format and have it feel like something good and cohesive, I think is another work of art in itself. And I think that it's definitely something people should read. If you didn't read the books as they came out, go grab that deluxe. You get the whole thing and read it all at once and love it. And then, like Josh said, Forgotten Queen has been, it was a book that nobody asked for. A lot of people said when it was announced, but it actually was really good. The art was really solid and fit the tone of the writing really well. And it was cool to get more fleshing out of Vexana, that character. So, yeah, I definitely want more Ninjak, obviously, but more Forgotten Queen would be cool with me, too, with Tini Howard writing it.
Yeah, it's too bad that she has that exclusive Marvel deal now, because I did like what she was doing there. But what she's doing with X-Men now, so good on her. She's probably getting a good paycheck for that and a lot of exposure for that as well. But was that Ninja K was 12 issues? How many issues was that?
14.
14.
It's 14 issues.
Perfect.
It's 14 issues
there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely pick that up. If you guys have been listening to us, you've read it.
Hopefully everybody's read it. And then what do we have coming next?
Next week, we got Livewire number 9 and Psylords number 3. So some pretty solid books. Two of the two ongoings, right?
Yeah. I'm sure that Livewire is going to end at 12, though. That's my thought. The sales are just not there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like using the Toyo, if they kind of use that, what happened with Toyo Harada recently, I think they can do some really cool things. Having her kind of take over the Harbinger Foundation at this time, being the leader, if they could utilize and see like Stronghold or somebody else was in the background trying to get her to be the leader and she's not fighting more guards, I think it would be great.
Yeah. Hopefully there's not like a whole issue of her just fighting like one person. I feel like that's been like happening in the last couple of story arcs.
Yeah, fair enough. But I do think it's been a really good book. And if it ends at 12, then I think that we will have a really solid 12-issue run. I do think that there's a good chance that that's what's going to happen. But, I mean, we'll see. But, yeah, I think that it's a really good book that, I don't know. It's been a solid one. And then Psylords is just an absolutely crazy book. The first issue was just so out of left field, and the second issue didn't really answer a lot of questions, and it raised new ones. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see where we end up with the Psylords going. I mean, this is issue 3, but we already know we're getting 12 issues of that, and Ben Lindsay has apparently, if I remember correctly, been saying that there's way more planned out already for it as well. So I'm definitely curious to see how it goes in the long run.
I kind of got a little bit from Robert Myers at Emerald City that the next event is going to be galactic. So you could kind of read it.
Perfect. So like
Perfect.
I missed it too, so hopefully, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I think that Psylords has been really, really solid, and definitely looking forward to more of that. So we do know that we've been having some technical difficulties with the sound, but we'll get that all figured out. I think that it's been really cool to, we got to get used to having a third member here, and you guys will maybe take a bit. Hopefully, you guys are cool with a little bit of a new format while we try to get used to it. I think it's definitely an improvement all around. And I think it's nice to make some changes sometimes, and hopefully things continue to get better for the podcast, and we can continue bringing everybody Valiant news. And I do also want to say thanks to everybody who's hanging out with us. Scott Bloom has been talking in the live chat and hanging out and interacting with us. William Pace obviously has been here. Sean Hayes came in. Definitely like having, I don't know if I said Ryan Pond, but he's obviously hanging out too. So yeah, I think it's nice, when people can hang out with us and interact, and hopefully we'll have more things to talk about in the future than the issues that we're having. But yeah, got 2 great issues to talk about next week. Hopefully everybody comes back and hangs out with us. Read the books as soon as you can. But yeah, this has been Get Valiant, episode number, what is it, 128?
Number 1 for me. I said number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's number 1. Yeah, number 1.
Volume 2, number 1.
Yeah, PH, post Hoosier. But yeah, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us. Signing off, I am Eric Baumgart.
I'm Josh Rathbun.
Make sure you sub so you know when we're going live every week. You guys get those alerts. So subscribe here on YouTube. And thanks Outright Geekery, guys. So rock and roll. Thanks everybody for having me jump on too. I appreciate it. Eric, Josh, you guys rock.
Absolutely.
Yep, thanks